Do you remember where you were when the bombshell tweet from Adam Schefter hit the timeline? I know I was. I was on the toilet in absolute shock what I was about to see. Adam Schefter on March 23rd, 2022 tweets, Tyreek Hill has been traded from the Kansas City Chiefs to the Miami Dolphins. Plus the draft capital, of course, which, kind of fits for what Tyreek wants. I actually thought it might have been a little bit more, but it was a lot. It was quite a bit of draft capital. So yeah, pretty pretty nuts, right? So what was so crazy about this was during this time, the Chiefs were winning and winning a lot of football. The trio of Mahomes, Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill were going to go down in history as one of the best wide receiver, quarterback, tight end duos of all time, right? It was insane. They were winning. They were winning Super Bowls. They were going to create a dynasty that was going to last for years and years and years, long, probably more than the Patriots dynasty, right? Because they were winning a lot more in a shorter time frame than the Patriots were. So, but what it made it so crazy was that Tyreek was due for an extension, and Tyreek Hill did get an offer from the Chiefs. They did offer him a lot of money, and it was actually somewhere in the same ballpark as the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins, I believe, offered a little bit more, plus a little more security, if I'm not mistaken. It was a lot of money, right? And Tyreek Hill, as a player and someone that was looking out for his family, said, I'm going to take the money. And he went to Miami, right? Well, tons of backlash for this decision. Like, hey, why would you do something like this, right? But what you do have to understand is the NFL stands for not for long, right? One injury can change your whole career, right? Tyreek Hill has been injured before, and he's been out for a couple games here and there. But as you do know, you want to have that security. So a lot of times, what people don't realize, if you're in that position yourself, you're going to take the money no matter what, right? You can judge somebody online all you want, but at the end of the day, it's more selfishness from the fans than, like, they care more about the team than they care about the players. Is what I was getting at. Like, you know, if Tyreek Hill stayed and took the money, would they have complained? No, right? But at the end of the day, is he taking less money for that? Yes. So I understand from a player's perspective. I always tell them go get your money, right? People's feelings can be pushed to the side no matter what. However, it was still a pretty strange thing to see. And on top of that, Tyreek Hill didn't do his best to just like stay away from the drama, right? Everyone loves their wide receiver one to be a diva, a drama queen. It's a part of the wide receiver one starter kit, right? If your wide receiver one is going to be the best, they have to be a diva. We all know this, right? Well, not always, but more often than not, yes, right? So, once he leaves, he has the infamous quote about, he was saying that Tua was more accurate than Mahomes, right? And Tua is a very accurate passer. That is what his MO is. But the thing about Tua is he doesn't have a strong arm. As we know, Mahomes has a lot of tools in his kit, in and out of the pocket. Deep ball, short ball, medium pass, sidearm, falling down, 30-yard pass. He can run the football. Like, Mahomes is obviously the greatest quarterback of the new generation of quarterbacks. We all know this. We're not here to talk about Mahomes. Well, Tyreek Hill obviously didn't feel the same, and he kind of went on these tours, on podcasts, kind of downplaying Mahomes and also downplaying the Chiefs, right? So that kind of left a sour taste in Chiefs fans' mouth, and I mean, okay, fine. So, however, if you want to talk about statistically, Tyreek's first 2 years in Miami were amazing. He had 1,700 yards in his first year in Miami, and then followed that up 1 yard short of an 1,800-yard season. And he was injured a little bit during that season, if I remember correctly. So there were some times where he probably could have gone for more. I honestly thought he was going to hit 2,000 yards that season. He was, I believe, I don't remember the exact date. I could probably look it up, but we're not going to. If I remember correctly, he was like at a 1,100 yards, like very early in the season. Like, I believe by seventh, eighth game or something like that. It was ridiculous. Like, he was 100, 200 yards a game, like a pop. And I'm like, that was for the first time I've seen, well, in the newer generation, obviously we had Calvin. Cooper Cup was actually very close as well. But that was when Cooper Cup was having his Triple Crown season, and obviously Calvin Johnson is Calvin Johnson. like, I mean, come on, Megatron, man. So that was the first time I've seen someone actually genuinely almost hit 2,000 yards, in real time. I was like, yo, this guy's cooking. Obviously, he didn't get the 2,000 yards, but 1,800 yards is still like literally the best. Like, it was crazy. And he had, I believe, 13 touchdowns that season as well. So really, really, really ridiculous stats out of Tyreek Hill in Miami. So things were looking up. Now, I had this discussion with another multiplicity member on this channel, and we were talking, and I thought it was such an interesting conversation because a scheme, when something schemes so perfectly, it opens people's eyes. The scheme was quick passes, auto motions, jet sweeps with Tyreek Hill. Get the ball in Tyreek Hill's hand by any means possible. Jalen Waddle's hand. Get it to him quickly. Let him run out in space. Right. Devon A. Chain. I forgot the other running back. They had another running back as well. Hand the ball off. Hand the ball. I mean, fast guys. They're all fast. Everyone's fast on the field. It was so electric, right? It's just like, wow, like these guys really cannot be contained. However, you can't come out and do the same thing every single year and expect people not to adapt, especially when it's working, right? And that is something I feel like is a coaching error. Like people say it's Tua's fault. Tua is at fault at times. He throws some really questionable passes, I will admit. And he does turn the ball over a lot, hence his nickname. But I also think it's more of a coaching error than anything because McDaniels doesn't seem like he holds Tua accountable. He wants to be Tua's friend. And sometimes it's okay to be a good human being. Yes, there are some times where you have to be your head coach as well. And I don't feel like McDaniels approaches that very well at all. Like he just buddy with Tua. Oh, everything's okay, right? Like I need him to take accountability as a coach and also hold Tua accountable, right? And that way, now, okay, let's talk about our scheme. What ways we can scheme these guys open? Because obviously last season, Tyreek Hill was not too happy. He didn't make the playoffs, and I don't even think he reached 1,000 yards. That's one of the first times we've seen Tyreek not hit 1,000 yards minimum. I mean, he's usually way over that, as we know, but in a long time. So it was definitely a weird adjustment period. And Tyreek had an infamous clip of where he wanted out.
This is my first time. I haven't been in the playoffs, man. So, I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, or if that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. You know, so it was great playing here, but.
I mean, you thinking about leaving here?
If it is, hey, yeah.
And as y'all can see in that clip, Tyreek, hey, this was one of the first times that we've seen him publicly speak about wanting to leave. Because usually when the players ask about like how they feel about something, even if we all know like, there's some type of estranged relationship there, usually they'll deflect or they'll deny, and there's a report later coming out that they want to get traded, right? Or something like along those lines. But Tyreek was honest, like, I don't want to play here right now. I want to go somewhere else. So I'm really surprised that Tyreek wasn't traded out of Miami after that season, but he came back on a restructured deal, and now he's playing in Miami, and it's not looking too great. Now, I will say, though, in those two games that they've played this season, one against the Daniel Jones led, I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, but Daniel Jones led Indianapolis Colts, who literally destroyed them week one. It was the most embarrassing loss I think I've seen in a long time. That was crazy. The second loss was also to the Patriots. And that game, I do believe, was winnable. And I believe they were put in positions multiple times to win the game as the Dolphins. But unfortunately, they were heavily penalized. I mean, like, it was ridiculous. They were a couple times where they almost were by the goal line and they got called back. And now you're in 1st and 20, 2nd and 20, 3rd and 20, stuff like that. It's like when you're penalizing yourself so much, you are causing yourself to lose the game more than the other team is causing you to lose the game. And also, I wanted to speak about the defense for a second. I don't think Miami's defense is the worst, but their run defense is literally atrocious. I feel like if you watch them try to stop the run, you will literally just laugh and giggle. It's ridiculous. Ramondre Stevenson just had an absurd game against them. Trayvon Henderson, he didn't touch the ball too much, but even when he touched the ball, it was multiple yards per game. So it's like you can only defense and offense matters, right? Your defense can only hold somebody for so long versus like, hey, you're going to still need to be able to score the ball, but you also need defense. The defense is just as important. So, I mean, this Patriots team is still rebuilding. So, like, giving up 30 plus points on a team that's like rebuilding with a young quarterback is kind of ridiculous, I think, uh, especially end up losing the game. So, it's kind of weird, man. But I don't think the Dolphins are in such a bad spot like their fans are doing. I try to tell them don't overreact. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yes, you're 0-2, but Tyreek Hill had a bounce back game. He had 100 plus yards, right? That's more Tyreek Hill. And what happened was they were starting to give him the ball more. Because Tyreek Hill, yes, you need a scheme. Everyone needs to scheme somebody open, but Tyreek Hill is very good at understanding pockets, right? Okay, hey, I can sit down here because these guys got to spread. Or I can run across this. Okay, Tua's in trouble. Let me come back this way to try to get myself open. Tyreek Hill is very instinctual in that way. And I actually wanted to talk about Tua's and Tyreek's connection because I also think that's where a lot of the issues stem from. And a lot of people kind of take what Tua said out of context. One thing about Tua is that Tua is very accurate, yes, but he does not have a strong arm. But even with Mahomes, like we talked about, has a kit, a crazy kit of abilities. But there's times where he's underthrown Tyreek Hill, right? And that's where all the conversations coming from is like, oh, Tua can't throw the ball down the field. Tyreek is such a unique and interesting wide receiver. One, because he's not that tall, sure, but whatever. But Tyreek Hill is faster than every single person on the field, right? So think about when you're throwing a go ball, right, to your favorite receiver, Justin Jefferson. He's one of my favorite receivers. I'm not even a Vikings fan, right? But he's literally one of my favorite receivers to watch because I think he does this so well. But let's say we're throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson down the sideline, right? Justin Jefferson's taller, lankier. You know, he's not as fast as Tyreek Hill, but, you know, whatever. So let's say he has one step on his defender. You can put the ball over their head. They always teach you to throw it over the head, like almost into the pockets where they're going, right? So if you can catch it, boom, now you can keep going. Either, you know, it's caught or they score, whatever the case may be. But Tyreek Hill is the fastest player on the field. So if they're running the go ball, Tyreek Hill's not going to have a step on his guy. He might have 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps, right? Think about it at such a fast pace. It's like, well, how do you, as a quarterback, 50, 60 yards down the field, how do you sit back and perfectly time Tyreek Hill going down the sideline? It's almost impossible, right? And that's where the underthrows come from. Tua doesn't have a strong arm, sure. But I understand, like, hey, it's tough to try to hit this guy so far down the field at this such quick rate. A ball is going to get underthrown, you know? And maybe, you know, we need to work on that in off season. Tua's been in the league for a while now, so I'm not sure why, you know, maybe he needs to bulk up a little bit. I don't know. I'm not a quarterback. I'm not really sure how they would go about increasing throw power, right? But again, if that's the case, if Tua can't throw the ball down the field, get it to Tyreek in shorter areas, right? Let him run in space. He's the fastest player in the game. Something I love they did with Jalen Waddle was, hey, Jalen Waddle is one of the fastest players in the game. Let's go give it to him in space. Jet sweeps, drags, quick slants, out routes, something, whatever. Just get him the ball immediately and let him go make a play, right? That was when I felt like they were the most electric, right? Let the deep balls happen. There's going to be 1 or 2. Like, if you keep dunking people down the field, you're going to open up the backside, right? And then, boom, that's when you hit Tyreek on a post route. Those are easier to hit versus a streak route, right? Like, let's scheme him open. Okay, they've been going this way for a while now. Let's bomb them down deep now, right? So that to me is a schematic issue, and that is one thing I will say. I think either McDaniels needs to change his coaching style, or he needs to be removed, right? I don't think he is very good right now for what the Dolphins require. Yes, they're down 0-2. I think they're fine. I'm not going to overreact. I know a lot of Dolphins fans want to blow it up. They want Tua gone. They want McDaniels gone. They want Tyreek gone, which I think is just ridiculous because I promise you, Dolphins fans are going to have so much regret when they see Tyreek. If he does get traded to another team, you're going to see how like effective he is. You're going to miss it, right? That's how it usually goes. Like, oh man, we see this with the Giants. Like, by the way, they look really good this week. By the way, the Giants fans all the time like, oh man, like we let Saquon go. Saquon just went to have 2,000 plus yards and won a Super Bowl. But sometimes, man, the situation is just different. You feel me? Um, Sometimes it's just like the right place isn't the right time. You feel me? So sometimes it's just like you kind of have to, make adjustments in that manner. So I don't think Miami fans should react or overreact to anything that's going on right now. Yes, it sucks your team is down 0-2. You don't think there's going to be any change, but I think they're fine. And that's where I think I'll end this video off. Please like and subscribe to the Multiplicity channel. If you have any thoughts on the Dolphins, please let me know down below. What can they do? What can they change? Where do you see their future going? Let us know down below. I appreciate y'all. I'm out, man.